Spark the Artmobile from MassArt, together with an artist originally from Roxbury, have been doing some placemaking at the newest landmark in Dudley Square. To tell us about the mural project at the Bruce Bowling Municipal Center is our guest from MassArt, the director of the Center for Art and Community Partnerships, Ceci Méndez. Thank you very much for being with us, Ceci.
Thank you, Chris, for having me.
First of all, I try to describe this. It is public art. I called
Yes,
it
indeed.
placemaking because when you walk in the building, you'll know where you are. I guess that must be the reason here.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. So the piece that we're talking about is called Roxbury Rhapsody, which is a designed creation by artist Napoleon Jones Henderson. And this is actually a selection by the Boston Art Commission. And there's over 400 pieces in this enamel mosaic mural that's about 30 feet wide by 9 feet high. And this piece is being created and destined for the space, which, as many of your viewers probably know, is the new home for Boston Public Schools administration.
Now, this is pretty big.
It's massive.
It's certainly going to look that way inside, but can
Yes.
you see any of it from the street?
You will be able to see, I mean, one thing that's really beautiful about the bowling center that's being built is this transparency in terms of the glass and the windows and the kind of inside-outside nature. So this mural is destined for the ground floor of the space.
You know, I know I don't have the world's greatest eyesight, but when I look at this in the monitor, for a moment it looks like a piece of fabric, and other times it looks like a collage.
It's really interesting you say that, because Napoleon's piece, this piece, Napoleon actually, he's mixed media, does all kinds of work, but has done a lot of weaving and work with fibers. In fact, that's the reason why he went to MassArt in the 70s in the first place to teach. But the piece Roxbury Rhapsody, as Napoleon has talked about, is really a celebration of the many musical influences and the arts and culture deeply seated in Roxbury. And that's part of what the title refers to, a real tapestry of people and artistic and cultural influences.
Now, this reminds me a little bit of some of the temporary public art that was on the I guess which you might call the remains of the Ferdinand building for decades too. Yeah.
Yep.
And of course, there's a history in Roxbury. There are some really great musicians who came out of it.
Oh.
This isn't just about people in the neighborhood who like music.
And it's about that too, right?
Yes.
I recently heard on a Discover Roxbury tour, Napoleon talking about, in answer to the question of who are the faces and the people in the mural, and he was really clear to say, it's you, it's you, it's you, it's everyone. And it definitely is an homage to musicians in the neighborhood and beyond, the culture of jazz and blues, and that rhapsodic existence of the arts and music and culture in our lives. Yeah.
Talk about his work with the new generation of artists.
So this story is a really, really inspiring one. You and also many of your viewers may know that in the Center for Art and Community Partnerships, which is that's where Spark's home is at MassArt. Spark is an initiative of CACP. And we currently have the great fortune of having Aqua Holmes, Roxbury born and raised artist, directing the Spark the Artmobile initiative. And she was a student at MassArt in the 70s and was one of a group of students in the Black Artists Union that actually rallied to bring Napoleon to Boston from Chicago, actually, to teach. He was coming for a year. He stayed for 4 decades and going on. And so he's been here making work for all over the city and the country, the world. And this time, Aqua had the vision of connecting, and CACP and MassArt was fully supportive of connecting Napoleon with a new generation of artists. So there have actually been 2 current undergraduate students, Mikal Bosch and Flolinda Jean from Dorchester, and a recent MassArt graduate student alum named Chanel Thurville, who have been working with Napoleon to fabricate the piece itself, and in particular also welcome individuals, organizations, and neighborhood groups into the space, the Cooper Center in Fort Hill, where this was being created. And so it's been a really, really wonderful and positive intergenerational just boom of creativity and sharing and learning and teaching in all kinds of directions, because the students are getting an invaluable experience to work with such a seasoned master artist, and Napoleon has talked about how they've become his family in many ways. This is the first time he's actually working so closely in collaboration with other individuals on a piece and on a piece of this scale.
You know, I could easily imagine a work of public art in the same location that might have some kind of an education theme, maybe more conceptual, abstract. Why is it so important to have something up there where you can look at it and say, that's here, that's the people around here?
Well, I think the word that comes to mind when you ask that question is the nature of public. And I think there's everything about the piece, the space that it is moving into, the collaboration with MassArt, there's this real sense of it is for the public, truly in every sense of, in every broadest sense of the word. The fact that the bowling building is now housing Boston Public Schools, the fact that so many people within the school system and many, many more within Dudley will be able to experience this piece. The fact that the piece is really, through this artist, but is really meant to be a reflection of the community where it will be based and housed and really find its home. And that is, I believe, I think the wonder and the fabulous nature of this piece being in this place at this time.
Now, we always say art's a mirror of reality, but it also changes how you look at reality.
Yes, I believe so too. I think it's really important for the iconography, the images, the vibrancy and the feeling of the piece to reflect the city, the place, and the culture where it resides.
Thank you very much for being with us.
Thank you so much.
Ceci Méndez from MassArt.